Now for part C, we're supposed to explain verbally. So we'll describe in words what f does to its inputs. And basically the first thing it does is it multiplies it by 2. So input gets multiplied by 2. And then the second thing that it does is that then the product, so the resulting product, which is basically 2x, is, or has 4 subtracted from it. Now looking at describing words what G does to its inputs. Its input has 4 added to it, so input has 4 added to it. And then number 2 is the resulting sum, which is basically x plus 4, is divided by 2. And then we can see from those kind of how these are inverse functions of each other, because the first one, it gets multiplied by 2 and then it has 4 subtracted from it, and if we go backwards on G, it gets divided by 2, which undoes the multiplication by 2, and then it has 4 added to it, which undoes the subtraction of 4. And if we look at it the other way, with G and F, the input has added by 2, and again, the second thing that F does is it subtracts that 4. So the input has 4 added to the input in G, and it's subtracted by 4 in F. And then the second thing that happens is the resulting sum is divided by 2, and the first thing that happens in the F function is that it's multiplied by 2. So basically the two portions are kind of undoing each other. For D, we're supposed to fill in the cells for outputs and explain the inverse relationship. An easy way to do that is if we bring back in the calculator. I've got in there my same formulas as when I graphed it, but what I can do this time is I can use the table. What I'll do first is I'll go second table set, and I've already got it in there, but what I want to do is I want to go to my independent variable and I want it to ask. So it's already set up for me to do that. I'll go to my table, second table, and then what I'll do is I'll go down to my for F, I'll do the first ones, and I'll put in 2, and if I put in 2, my output's a 0. If I put in 3 for X, for F I get 2. If I put in 4, my output is 4. If I put in 5, I get 6 as my output. If I put in 6, I get 8 as my output. If I put in 7, I get 10 as my output. And if I put in 8, I get 12 as my output. And then what I can do now is if I delete these out, and then I just go up and put in my 0 to 4, and this time I'll go to Y2 because that's where I put in my G equation. I'll put in 0, and I get out 2, put in 2, and I get out 3, put in 4, and I get out 4. I'll put in 6, and I get out 5. I'll put in 8, and I'll get out 6. I'll put in 10, and my output is 7. And when I finally put in 12, my output is 8. Now when I look at this, since my top one was F, when I input 2, my output was 0. But if I go down to the G section here, when my input is 0, my output is 2. And if I actually go along here, everything that I have for my outputs on F are actually the inputs for G. And then conversely, when I look at the outputs for G, for those inputs, I get my outputs are actually the same as the inputs for F. That's just showing again that when you put something in, basically the formula or the functions are inverse, because when you put something in, you'll get something out of one function. If you put that result back into the other function, you'll go back to what you put in.